Welcome back to the channel, guys, and today we're going to be doing part 2 of my series. And again, these are just my favorites. I'm not claiming these to be the top 5 best in the world, but they're my personal favorites. So let's jump right into it. So we're going to start off with my 5th favorite scene, and that's going to be from Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street. The pacing of this opening is perfection. You got all these rich assholes throwing midgets into bullseyes, playing games with them. These are human beings you're doing this with, and it just shows that money is not a problem in their lives. And that face is hilarious. This is truly one of Martin Scorsese's best films he's ever done. We got a Ferrari here, and I love the change of the color through that editing there. And then he's got a girl going down on him. It just shows that he's living the life. And we have this long pan shot to show the mansion, and it just shows that this guy can do whatever he wants whenever he wants. And this really sets up what the rest of the movie's going to be, and it just gets you sucked into it right away. It's just go, 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 and the dialogue is perfect. Listen to some of this.
On a daily basis, I consume enough drugs to sedate Manhattan, Long Island, and Queens for a month.
Okay, Mr. Jordan.
I take Quaaludes 10 to 15 times a day for my back pain, Adderall to stay focused, Xanax to take the edge off, pot to mellow me out, cocaine to wake me back up again, and morphine, well, because it's awesome. More than make them.
So he's just named off all these drugs. Just saw him driving a Ferrari. We showed him throwing money at work, and now he's going into a really expensive building, and now he's snorting cocaine. So we are introduced to this right off the bat in a very fast movement. This is a very quick go, go, go editing style to get the audience enthralled. Like, we just took a line of cocaine. And I love how fancy everything looks. It fits the environment that they're going for, and it just works flawlessly. That's why it's one of the best opening scenes of all time. Now, my next pick has got to be one of the most heart-pounding openings in movie history. And that pick's going to be the opening scene of Mission Impossible 3, starring Tom Cruise. And Philip Seymour Hoffman in this scene blows this out of the water. He is dead serious. He means business. And his line delivery and his facial structure of his acting is very intimidating. There's no jokes inside this man. You are introduced to that right away. He's got someone Tom Cruise cares about, duct tape, tied to a chair. And he's like, I'm going to kill her if you don't tell me where the rabbit's foot is. And the reason this scene works so well is the line delivery is so intense.
Rabbit's foot's in Paris. You want to know where in Paris? Then let her go, because you will
It's
never.
not in Paris. 5.
Really what makes the scene is the acting in this one. See, now he's getting pissed because he's still counting to 10. He has no leverage.
I can get it for you. But you kill her, you do this. If you get nothing. Are you listening to me? The only way you're gonna get what you want is for you to. You think I'm playing? You think I'm playing? You don't think I'll do it? Where is it? Where the hell is it? Look at me. Where the hell is it? Look at me. Stay with 7. 7.
That's gotta be one of the most angry line deliveries I've ever heard. 7! And there's a little shakiness to it to make you a little uneasy. But he's trying to tell him, I will help you, but you've got to listen to me. Philip Seymour Hoffman's been burned by him, so he's like, nah. And then the tear drops. And then we're introduced to the very famous opening theme song. We don't even know if that girl is dead or not. We just heard gunfire. This is how you open a movie right here. These guys hit a home run with this scene. This is one of the best opening scenes of all time. Tell me I'm wrong. We're going to get to my number 3 pick, and I just want to say that this scene is very special to me. It was one scene that scared the living crap out of me. When I first saw it, my heart was just racing when I saw this. After I saw the scene, I thought, these are the kind of movies I want to make. I want to enthrall an audience to this level. And that scene is the opening of 28 Weeks Later. We start off at a farm. There's this little boy that finds him in a cottage, and they are completely isolated in this little farmhouse. And what's scary about this movie is the zombies run full speed. They don't sleep. They scratch. They spit. They're very hyper aggressive. So we see this kid eating this food like he hasn't eaten in days. And I like how this scene just, when it goes, I mean it goes. And it does not let up for 1 millisecond. You are in shit my pants mode for the next 5 minutes straight.
How did you get here?
They were chasing me.
Who were chasing you?
My mum. My dad. They're trying to kill me. There's others too.
How many?
Loads.
So the girl starts looking out the window, which was kind of stupid of her to do. And we are introduced to our first zombie very aggressively, and it was terrifying. And they just bust through this wood and bite her arm right off the bat. So we know it's over for everybody. And it is a little shaky cam. I'm not a big fan of that, but it worked for this movie and what they were trying to do here. Everyone's running around everywhere. There's chaos everywhere. And what I like about this scene is it's very realistic because the wife wants to save the kid because her mother instincts kick in. And then his survival instincts kick in. And he looks at her and he's like, I'm sorry, because the zombie starts coming towards him. So he closes the door and then we see her face and she's just mortified that he just closed the door on her. You know, you don't have time to think. You have milliseconds to make decisions in a situation like this. And I liked that they really heavily implied that, and if you do try to stop and think, you're gonna get killed. There's tons of these things chasing them into the room. We see him open the window, jump off the roof, and then there's already creatures on his ass coming after him, full sprint ahead. And then I love how he just looks back at her and then she's just gone. Zombie gets her, and then we get this beautiful aerial shot panning behind him and then getting in front of him, and then we see more zombies coming from the hills when he's already being chased with zombies behind him. So he has to run ahead of them to get away. The music, you gotta give it to the composer. This theme song of 28 Weeks Later is incredible. And when I saw this, man, my stress level was so high. I was like, damn, this is so good. These are the kind of movies I wish we would get more of. If I had the money and the funding, I would have scenes like this happening over and over. I would want my audience's blood pressure to be so high people walk out of the movie because they just can't handle it. I'm being honest, these are the kind of movies I want to make. Putting characters in the most stressful situations they can be in their life. But what I would do is I would make it grounded. I would try to come up with a scenario. I would try to break apart that scenario. So if you thought of a way how to get out of it, I would write it and structure it in a way where that would fault and go against you. I want to put my audience in a situation where they're trying to think of how they get out of the situation, and then I show that situation happen, but it doesn't work out. So then my audience is like, I don't know at this point. And that's why this scene scared me so much. Honestly, in my opinion, it's one of the best opening scenes in every movie ever made in the world. Nothing is scarier and more tension-filled than the opening scene of 28 Weeks Later, and that's why it's my number 3. So it'll probably come at no surprise to any of you that this movie made my top 5 favorite opening scenes of all time, and that's going to be Terminator 2. We got the skull being crushed, and then we have this beautiful handmade practical effect T-800 robot. This sound work and this music meshes so well together. Listen to some of this. This is how you start off a movie. I've watched a lot of behind the scenes of this movie, and I want to say right here, the actors are on a set, and the robot stuff beyond that little clip there in the middle, that is actually a projector screen. Those were recorded toys. Those robots are all props, and they're huge toys that they had recorded previously. When you get this wide angle shot of seeing the explosion and all the robots, that is actually a projector screen while the actors are on a set. And it's nice to finally see the war between the humans and the machines in a Terminator movie. I really wish this is what Terminator Salvation was the whole time versus what we got. But this opener is one of the best in the world. We have real practical effects here. Nothing's artificial, nothing's fake. You don't have green screen. Everything's just kind of raw, and they have the blue filter to it. Everything looks dead and everything's destroyed as to show the war between the humans and the machines. So then we get into the story of the movie, trying to save John Connor so this doesn't happen. My hat's off to James Cameron. He did a phenomenal job with this. That scene was very short-lived. Yes, I wish it was longer. We had that good score and that lighting and the camera tricks with the projector screen and all that. And it all looks very real and very good. and how scary the war is going to be in the future. And it really sets the tone for the rest of the movie. And that's why it's my second favorite opening of all time. My favorite opening scene of all time that I think is number one, and if I were to make a top 5 list of all time of every movie ever made, I would still put this as number one. My number one favorite opening scene of all time is from Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards. You want to talk about a scene where the dialogue just raises your anxiety higher and higher? This is going to be the king of kings, because Quentin Tarantino is the grand master of dialogue, and that's what this entire scene is. Dialogue building up to this moment that happens at the end of the scene. And to make things even better, we have Christopher Waltz, who plays this very scary Nazi general, and he is so calm and professional and collected in it, but you know he's a piece of shit, and you know he's there to do something vile and evil, and he's going to this home of these very good people, and he's about to do something very awful. And the conversation he's having with this guy, basically threatening him but not doing it directly, just the way he's talking to him is horrible, because you know what he wants to do, and this guy's like, he knows I know they're here. I love the little knickknacks that Tarantino put in this scene. Do you mind if I smoke my pipe? And then the guy asks, do you mind if I smoke my pipe? And he's like, it's your home. You could do whatever you want. He's just such an evil guy. And Christopher Waltz, man, my God, you want to talk about an actor taking a role and just going over and beyond. This is the guy that did it.
Would it disturb you if I smoked my pipe?
Oh, please, Monsieur Lapetit, this is your house. Make yourself comfortable. Now, according to these papers, all the Jewish families in this area have been accounted for, except the Dreyfuses.
This scene is incredible. If you haven't seen this scene, you are truly missing out on some of the best cinema that's ever been made in the history of film. The writing in this is perfect. The screenplay in this is perfect. The pacing, the editing, the atmosphere, the lighting, the small sound work, and most importantly of all, the dialogue and line delivery is the best there is, in my opinion. This is truly a work of art. And I think Quentin Tarantino is a genius because he gives us moments that we can just pause and think with the character for a minute.
Continuer à le parler si peu convenablement ne ferait que me gêner. Cependant, je crois savoir que vous parlez en anglais tout à fait correct, n'est-ce pas?
Oui.
Ma foi, il se trouve que moi aussi. Puisque nous sommes ici chez vous, je vous demande la permission de passer à l'anglais pour le reste de la conversation.
Certainement.
Well, I'm very familiar with you and your family. I have no way of knowing if you are familiar with who I am.
Us as an audience knows what's going on, and we know that Christopher Waltz's character knows that he's hiding Jews under the floor, and that just raises the bar in the scene. There's no hope of this ending well. Your heart's pounding, you're stressed out, the scene's going really slow, so the build-up's getting worse, and you're just like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And the dialogue gets more and more aggressive and more revealing, and that's what's so perfect about Quentin Tarantino's writing here, is the more they talk, Christopher Waltz's character says, I know you have Jews hiding under the floor. But it takes forever to get to that point. And that's why this scene is a masterpiece. This part, for instance, he says something to him, and then we just get a shot of his face. And we're watching this man basically get people killed. But he doesn't want to, but he is forced to because his family will also die. And he's looking for the best interest for his own family.
My job dictates that I must have my men enter your home and conduct a thorough search before I can officially cross your family's name off my list. And if there are any irregularities to be found, rest assured there will be. That is unless you have something to tell me that makes the conducting of a search unnecessary. I might add also that any information that makes the performance of my duty easier will not be met with punishment. Actually, quite the contrary. It will be met with reward. And that reward will be your family will cease to be harassed in any way by the German military during the rest of our occupation of your country. You're sheltering enemies of the state, are you not?
Yes.
You're sheltering them underneath your floorboards, aren't you?
Yes.
Point out to me the areas where they're hiding.
Just fucking killer acting. And then when we finally are relieved to know, okay, well, they know, now you're relieved, there's no more suspense, there's no more tension, it's just all out in the open. We now watch them just blast through the floor. And it's very loud and it's just kind of bonkers at this point. They're dead, you feel horrible about it. This is one of the reasons why I love movies, are scenes like this. The best way I can explain this is the way I think about it. We're watching a movie about real events that happened in real life. And this feels so real because we had a team of people that are passionate and professional about this kind of line of work, and they made one of the most enthralling, heart-pounding scenes of all time. And it's very grounded and raw to reality. And it's just impressive to me that these people that came around writing a script, got actors on a set, found a location, had sound work through an editing software, all these people just collaborating together to create this 20 minutes of entertainment. It's just a cool thing that people can do, and we can watch them and take them very seriously. People in the movie industry that are this passionate and this professional with this amount of intelligence to create something to this scale. And that's why I think the opening scene in Inglourious Basterds is the best opening scene of all time. Not my own personal favorite, of all time. Well, that does it for part 2 of this series, guys. I do have my final part of this series coming out next Friday, so stay tuned for that. Don't miss it, and that's going to be my top 5 favorite movie endings of all time. I got some good ones in there. You guys can speculate in the comments what you might think they might be. So if you want to see what they are, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can be notified when that video drops, and I'll catch you movie fans on my top 5 favorite movie endings video.